It is Thursday, June 27th, 2004. It is 9:32 a.m. This is Jeff Pastor, Chair of the Lancaster Board of Health. Meeting is now called to order. Present are members Melinda Apgar and Sheila Mallett, as well as Samantha Zedeker, Administrator for Lancaster Department of Health and Human Services, and Bill Brookings, our Neshoba Associated Boards of Health agent. And there are no guests here, so we can, well, it looks like we're about to get a guest. Let me just wait until she's connected. Okay, I was just reading the opening statement. Melissa, I'm assuming that you can hear me. Can you unmute and let me know that you have audio? A little tricky on an iPhone to do that, so I'll give Melissa a minute to figure that out. Anyway, Melissa, as part of our introductory statement, I want to welcome all guests, thank them for involvement in Board of Health business. Remind you that the meeting is recorded. All right, she's gone. All right, let's get on with the meeting. Let's start out with our agenda as we normally would. First item up is permits. We have White Pond Road, new construction septic permit, which I think we're going to defer to July. Is that right, Bill?
Yeah, after discussion with the engineer, he'd like to come in on the next meeting in July. Yep.
Okay, fair enough. And we've got lots 1 and 2 on Ponican Road, septic permit. And I guess we can talk about that together with lot 3 North Main Street. Is that right?
Yeah, we have 1 and 2 Ponican and 3 North Main. I think Sam has plans for those.
Okay.
These were permits that were issued back in 2015, so they've expired, and the owners are now applying for permit reissue. So these are all new permits and variance free. Each one similar, 1,500 gallon septic tank, gravity to stone and pipe leaching trenches.
All right. So these are new, but they're really updates from previous ones that had expired, had already been approved. So it looks like Samantha's busy with she's doing something else. So we don't have the plans up, but as soon as she has a minute, we can get the plans and we can look at them and make sure that we're okay with them. Since there's no variances, quite likely we would have no objections to them. All right.
You should see that, right?
This looks like Ponican Road. Is this this is lot 1 and lot 2 together, it looks like.
Well, it's actually lot 2's design plan. And you
Okay.
can see, again, gravity to a septic tank and then gravity to stone and pipe leaching trenches in the front. And you can see all those contour lines. That just shows that the system is in fill.
Okay. All right. So nothing remarkable there. No variances, no issues.
Nope.
Do you want to look at lot 1 now, and then we can approve both of them?
Yeah, so again, lot 1, similar to lot 2, 1,500 gallon tank and gravity to stone and pipe trenches, variance free.
Okay. All right.
And then
Any
you
questions?
can see on the locus that lot 3 is frontage on North Main, so that's the lot 3 North Main plan. So we have one more left.
Okay, and that's not up for discussion at today's meeting.
It is.
It is.
Yep.
That's the next.
That's
Oh,
C on
okay.
the
It's
agenda.
called Lot 3 North Main Street.
Yep.
I understand. Yeah, so let's look at that. Let's do all three of them at the same time. All right, looks like that's Lot 3. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Yeah, again, 1,500-gallon tank, gravity to pipe and stone trenches, and again, you can see all those contours because groundwater was relatively high, just over 2 foot deep. So yeah, everything's kind of being raised there, houses, system, everything, but straightforward.
Okay. All right, so we're being asked to approve a permit for septic installation on all three of these properties. Are there any questions or comments, Melinda or Sheila?
I don't have any questions or comments.
I don't have any questions either.
In the absence of discussion, is there a motion to approve the permits for these three properties collectively?
I'll make a motion to approve the new septic system going in to lots 1 and 2 and on Ponican Road, and the second one on lot 3, North Main Street. There are no variances for any of them. They're approved as is.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Melinda Apgar,
Aye.
Sheila Mallett,
Aye.
Jeff Pastor, aye. Motion carries. And Bill, we trust that you will take the next steps on behalf of the board to issue these permits and let the owners start doing their thing.
Yeah, I will draft permits and just need to know that I can sign the permits for the board.
Please do. All righty. Title V inspections. We've got 296 Hilltop Road.
Yeah, that's a pass.
Okay. And 88 Shirley Road.
That is a failure, so we'll do our standard failure letter that gives them 2 years to upgrade.
All right. And how about 47 Center Bridge Road?
Pass.
All right. And 64 Old Hickory Road?
That is a pass also.
All right. So board really is required to make no action. This is just a notification pro forma. And you'll issue the letter requiring revisions within 2 years on behalf of the board.
Yeah, upgrade that failed system within 2 years, and as long as Sam has those other 3 as reviewed in the minutes, that'll cover it.
Okay. Very good. Let's move into our discussion items. 489 Neck Road. We had issued, this was a case where we have a property with an occupied trailer. We did an inspection. We found the violation, the temporary housing not being allowed in the trailer. We issued discussions with the property owner as well as the trailer occupant. We issued a cease and desist order. That order was received as delivered by certified mail on June 14th. And I believe the next step would be to do a reinspection to make sure that the trailer is now unoccupied. And Bill, I believe your plan will be to contact the property owner and arrange for that reinspection sometime early to middle July.
Yeah, I'll try to reach the owner next week. Again, the letter did ask for the owner to contact us. He hasn't, so I'd be happy to reach out to him and set that up and alert the board on a date and time.
Okay. Sounds good. Any other questions or comments about this one before we move on?
Yep, all set.
700 Fort Pond Road, which is the United Ag and Turf business. This is a long story which has been covered in previous minutes. I'm not going to repeat all the details. The current status is that we have finally contacted Mike DeMartin, who is an executive official of the company. Is he a CFO? Is that his title? Samantha, is that correct? He's the chief
correct.
financial officer for a corporate. And he has assured us in writing. And do you have that, Samantha, or should I call it up? I think I have it as well. There was an email we received from him.
Yep, I can bring it up. 1 second.
That'd be great. Actually, I've got it. I'll just read it right out. It's short. So this is from Mike DeMartin. It's dated Wednesday, June 26th, 2024. Jeff, we have hired Dan. Okay, it's right there. I'll just read it into the record. We've hired Dan Proctor from William Proctor Incorporated to remedy the issue at 700 Fort Pond Road location. He has already met with former general contractor Bill Hannigan and Bill Brookings from our office, has reviewed the site, expects to receive a quote shortly, and plan to have the situation resolved in mid-July. And I requested back in writing to him, which is a little higher up in that email, if you can scroll up, Samantha. Thanks for the update. Please keep me informed of progress or delays. And he did respond that he would do that. So from my perspective, I'm comfortable that we have forward progress being moved. They've hired a new contractor who is reputable, and Bill has worked with him many times. And there's really no reason to think that they will not be able to resolve this issue and get us a certificate of compliance in the next couple of weeks or so. So from my perspective, I'm happy to table this issue with no further action and wait for them to deliver the certificate of compliance, hopefully sometime in the early or middle part of July. Any questions, comments, or disagreements with that position?
No,
No,
Sheila?
I think that sounds good.
Okay,
We'll wait on in mid-July.
right, and we have a late July meeting, so we'll know by then if it's been resolved. If it's been resolved, then period, end of story. We can remove it from the agenda. If it has not been resolved, then we'll have to be talking about further action. Does that all sound okay to you, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to 194 Grant Way. This is the complaint by a somebody, a resident who abuts this business. Business is basically a sand pit, and they had been complaining about dust in their house, on their house, in their property, on their property. It's episodic. It only happens when it's dry and windy. And we have had discussions, Bill has had discussions with the business owner who has committed to moving the piles of sand or dirt, whatever it is, that blows into the resident's property. However, that has not yet been done. And I think the most recent communication, at least a note that I have, is that the business plans to move this pile of the week of July 1st, the first week of July. And assuming that's correct, we should be able to have a communication. I'm going to ask Bill to follow up with the business owner, let's say by any time that's convenient, let's say maybe by July 10th, in and around July 10th, and make a phone call to see if the pile has been removed. If it has, then I would suggest that we, the board, meaning Bill and at least one of the three of us, go to the property, inspect it, take pictures, compare the pictures to the previous pictures, and satisfy ourselves that the pile has been moved. And then we can notify the resident who would already know this information because they live there, that the pile has been moved and we believe the situation has resolved, and that we plan to close the issue. So I think that would be the progress of this one. And the only thing that could alter that would be if the business owner does not move the pile, in which case we're going to have to look at what additional action we can take, because this has already been going on for at least, I think, 2 or 3 months, if not longer. Take a next step action against the business. The only other problem could be if they do move the pile and the resident, the complainant, states that there's still a problem, maybe from another area, or they didn't move it far. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll just have to make sure that it's resolved, that it's A, that it's moved, and B, that the complainant is satisfied.
Mhm. Okay. So we'll
So
know by July meeting then.
We should certainly know before the July meeting, yes. Does that work for you, Bill? Does that all make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right. 3D, 1263 North Main Street. We had some outstanding paperwork on a septic system install. Can you give us an update on that one, Bill?
Yes, we've received the engineer's as-built and certification, and I've received everything I need from the installer. The only thing remaining is the owner recording the Presby deed notice, which I did call him, and he did say he's in the process of doing. I haven't seen that yet, so I will follow up with a phone call to the owner.
Okay. All right. Appreciate that, Bill. If you can do that on our behalf, that would be great. And we can get an update on that before the July meeting. And presumably that step is taken, then that will drop this item from the agenda.
Correct.
All right. Item E, 132 Kilbourne Road, another situation with an occupied trailer on a property in violation of temporary housing code. We have had, again, numerous discussions, letters about this violation. We did send a cease and desist order by registered certified mail, return receipt requested. We sent that to, we sent 2 of those, both to the post office box listed by the property owner as their mail address. We sent one to that post office box addressed to the property owner, another one to the same post office box addressed to the trailer occupant. Neither green card has been received. So we're at a point of taking a next step against the property owner. Since we have already had a hearing here at last month's meeting, the owner or the owner's son was present, the trailer occupants were present, everything was explained to them. They were all told that trailer has to be unoccupied. Is it necessary? This is a question that I'll pose in general to Bill and for the opinion of the other board members. Is it necessary for us to go back here and demonstrate to ourselves that the trailer is still occupied before we ask legal counsel to take further action or to recommend further action? Or should we just go to that step at this point?
I think it would make sense to inspect to verify, because if perhaps it's gone and we just haven't been notified, there wouldn't be a need to take another step.
Right.
So
That's what
without
I'm
that
thinking.
green card being received, I do have the owner's phone number. I'd be happy to call them and see if we can arrange a inspection, or if that doesn't go well, we'll just take a ride out.
Why don't we do that, Bill? Why don't we ask you to contact the owner? Ask them if the trailer has been removed or if at least the occupants have left the trailer. If they have said that, I think we would still want to drive out there and take a look to verify it.
Absolutely.
And either way, we're going to have to go out there and take a look. So let's let the owners know, the property owner know that, we had sent a certified letter. We did not receive a card back. And we need to know that the cease and desist order has been adhered to. And we're going to come out to take a look, ask them if they have a time or day that's convenient. If not, we'll just go out there when you, Bill, and I, or if not me, somebody else on the board. I would volunteer to go just because I went the last time and I know what we saw. So let's take those actions. Let's contact the owner, see if they've made any changes to the trailer. Go out there and take a peek at it. Bill, you can text us and let us know some dates and times that'll work for you.
Yep.
It's going to be harder with the summertime and all of our commitments and stuff, but we'll find a time. We'll go out there and do a reinspection and see what the story is. What I would like to do is I don't want to keep prolonging this month to month to month. So I'd like us to make a presumption that if we find that the trailer still appears to be occupied, that we are in agreement that we do take the next step, which would be to notify the town administrator, the select board chair, that we are requesting legal counsel to support either housing court for condemnation or our own board generated condemnation action, which we have done in the past on other properties. I think that would be the next step. But we would want to clear that with town administration and town council first. Sheila?
So I have a question. So you said that a certified letter went out and there was no return receipt. Is that correct?
Yes.
So how is this different than serving them by constable to ensure that they receive notice?
I think you're right. Actually, that's a good point. I think that probably would be the next step, would be to serve by constable. So let's thank you. So let's agree that our next step would be to, as we have done with other properties, to notify the town administrator, select board chair, commissioner of public safety, all the people that we usually notify when we need this kind of support, that the letter has to be delivered by constable, and enlist the constable support in that. So that is the step. That is the next step, and the step after that, if the cease and desist order is served, and if should it be ignored, then the next step would be condemnation. Does that make sense to you, Bill?
Yeah, I think that's what we did on Russell. We actually waited for the
Correct.
green card to come back. In this case, I mean, you could move forward with service, even though you haven't received that package back from the post office.
Samantha, what's the timing on that package? When was it sent and when is it due back from the post office if it is not picked up by the addressee?
Let me look 1 second. It was sent certified on June 12th. And typically it takes between 22 to 30 days for us to get it back.
All right. So let's not act prematurely. I don't want to send a constable out if they're going to pick up the letter and actually respond to it and vacate the trailer. We can save a lot of time and energy and money by just waiting another couple of weeks. So if we sent it out on the 12th, and if the outside date for the post office is usually 30 days, that would put us 1, 2, 3 into July 10th. Why don't we agree that if we have not gotten a green card back by Monday, July 15th, because that would be at least more than 30 days, right, Samantha?
Hmm.
If you can got a calendar handy. 12th, that's 18 plus 15 is 33 days. So yeah, so that's a little bit more than 30 days. If
July 11th would be day 30.
all right.
Mhm.
So if we have not received the green card, for the purposes of the minutes, if we have not received a green card by July 11th, then
Can I step in for a second? Because I'm just trying to wrap my head around the process because we've done this a few times now and I just want to make sure we do it consistently. So the post office is responsible for delivering that mail, and whether or not we get that green card back or not, I understand, but we found out the last time, I believe, 2 attempts, right? We thought it was 3, but we found out it's 2. Have they made both of those attempts already? Or before we start like getting into like calculating days and stuff like that, do we know if the post office has made their required amount of attempts to deliver the mail?
we don't. I don't think we ever know that. I think what we know is that they do their process, and their entire process from one end to the other takes 30 days.
So it is documented on the envelope that comes back to me, that attempts they tried to make, but we're not aware of what those are until we get that package back that it was not delivered after the 30 days.
Okay, so I mean, maybe we should just wait until we get that back from the post office and make that our day.
That's what I just said, Melinda.
Yeah.
Let me repeat what I said. So since it takes the post office as long as a total of 30 days for their process to be exhausted, that at that point we take the next step, which is to serve the cease and desist order by constable.
Yeah, okay. I didn't understand why we were maybe just to kind of like put a number in our head of when we think we might get it back, but
Yeah.
if we just
Within 30 days,
then we get it back from the post office, then we proceed with the constable.
Well, when we get it back from the post office, it means that the addressee has failed to pick up the certified mail.
Correct.
And that can take as long as 30 days.
Correct.
So at that 30-day mark, we can safely assume that the addressee is unable or unwilling to pick up the certified mail, and then we ask the constable to step in.
But I think we're trying to put a date on this so
That's-
that we
that's
can
the point.
have
Why are we trying
action
to put a
before
date
the
on it?
next meeting, correct?
Sorry, I can't hear anybody when 2 people are talking at the same time. Samantha first.
I'm assuming we're trying to put a date on this so that we can take action before the next meeting to have them start.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Melinda, sorry, I wasn't quite getting what you were saying.
I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, so rather than have to wait for a whole other meeting and then have this discussion, we're having the discussion now. We're presuming, hopefully we're incorrect, but we're presuming that the that the property owner and the trailer occupants are going to do nothing, that they're not going to pick up the mail, that they're not going to vacate the trailer. If we find out that by that 30-day period that if we've gotten the card back, whenever we get the card back from the post office that the certified letter was undeliverable, then we're going to call the owner, as Bill suggested. So step one is to wait for the card. Step two is to call the property owner and tell them that we sent a certified letter, that they were unable or unwilling to pick that up, and that we need to know whether the trailer has been vacated. If they say it has been vacated, regardless of what they say, we're going to go out and take a peek at the trailer.
Yeah.
Assuming that the trailer still is occupied or appears to be occupied, then the next step will be to ask town administrator, other town officials to intervene with a constable to serve the cease and desist order. And then if after the order is served, if the trailer continues to be occupied, then we move to legal counsel for recommendations about housing court or board cease and desist. I'm sorry, board condemnation.
Okay.
We all good with that?
That sounds like a plan.
Samantha, do you have that down for the minutes, for purposes of the minutes, like what the stepwise progression is?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. All right, I'm trying to do everything except 27 Russell Lane in case we get the complainant back on the meeting, because she was here. I believe it was her. Her first name is Melissa. So let's go to 679 George Hill. We don't have Frank here with us, but I don't know if we need him or not. The situation with 679 is that they were due to produce a certificate of compliance that they've installed a new septic system on the property by the end of this month. Clearly, that has not happened. We do have documents from the engineer, which looks like Samantha is about to put up. This is about the extension. Do you have the other document, Samantha, that talks about their plan? I think there was another document that preceded the extension request. Yes, I've got it here. Let me share my screen. All right, so this is an email that I received. Can everybody see this?
Yeah.
From Frank McPartland from Dillis and Roy. Good afternoon. This is dated July 19th, 2024. Chris Mahaber has signed who's the owner of 679 George Hill, has signed a contract with Dan Proctor for construction of the permitted septic system at 679 George Hill. Site has been cleared and grubbed, and Dillis and Roy have staked out the limits of the field so that Dan Proctor can begin construction on the septic system. So that is what I would call forward progress. My response is up here. Hi, Frank. While we appreciate the update, I am again reinforcing that the deadline for installing and obtaining a certificate of compliance for the new system expires June 30, 2024. The board requires a definitive work plan with a specified date of completion of all requirements and a request for extension if one will be necessary. So that's that communication. The next one. So after that communication email went out from me to Mr. McPartland, he sent back a request for extension for 679 George Hill Road, which I will open up. And they are essentially asking an extension of the June 30th deadline. Work is underway on the construction of an 18-bedroom septic repair. Contractor William Proctor Excavating estimates system installation will be complete by the end of July, with final certifications and as-built complete by the middle of August. They're requesting an extension from June 30th to August 16th, which is about a month and a half, to allow for the construction and certification of the system. We trust this meets with your needs at this time. So I think that, again, from my own personal perspective, is that this process has been going on for a very, very long time. I would, since there is forward progress, at least a contractor's been hired, work has begun. The timeline is relatively short, only 6 to 8 weeks long, 6 or 7 weeks long, I should say. I would suggest, and in fact propose, that we approve the extension. Let the property owner and Mr. McPartland from Dillis and Roy know that the extension's approved. However, should this work not be completed, should the certificate of compliance not be available by the specified date, that the board will take further legal action against the owner.
Also, that septic is approved for 18 bedrooms, so it should be deed restricted to that.
Yeah, that is a condition of the permit.
Okay.
Yep, they're aware of that. They proposed it actually when they proposed that system sizing.
Right.
Okay.
And that's documented in the minutes of this committee and previous meetings.
Okay, good.
And good point, Sheila. Thank you. So my suggestion is that we make a motion and vote to approve the extension, notify, send a letter that Samantha can start off, and Bill and I can dot the i's and cross the t's on a letter that, again, basically says that we've approved the extension. However, blah, 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 we expect, work to be completed as promised. Further extensions, will not be granted. Any discussion, comments?
I don't have any discussion or comments. Would you like me to make the motion?
Feel free.
I'd like to make a motion to extend the sewage disposal works construction permit for the 679 George Hill Road location from the June 30th, 2024 original date to August 16th, 2024, to allow for the completion of the construction and the certification of the system.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Sheila Mallett,
Aye.
Melinda Apgar,
Aye.
Jeff Pastor, aye. Motion is approved unanimously. No huge hurry, Samantha, but let's try to generate a simple letter letting Frank and the property owner know that we've approved the extension, with the provisos that I just stated, that we plan no additional extensions, and that they can expect for legal action should we not receive the certificate of compliance by the due date. All right. Well, let's go to 27 Russell Lane, because there's really no other business other than the Board of Health positions that I want to talk about briefly. It's possible that this may be the shortest Board of Health meeting on record.
Don't jinx it.
That, but I was keeping my mouth shut.
Make it
Yeah.
up for last month.
I just jinxed it, right? So 27 Russell Lane, Without getting into extreme detail, this is another case where we have an occupied trailer on a property. We also have a complaint from a resident based on noise that had been produced by generators. There are two generators, one that was powering the trailer, another that was powering the house itself. We had a cease and desist order that was served by the constable. Within a couple of days of the service of that cease and desist order, we have heard secondhand that Mass Electric was out to the property, that the generators were turned off. We had been told by the constable that he had been told by the property owner that they were remedying the situation, that they were going to be able to get some funding to restore power, and that they expected the situation to be remedied. I went out there. What was the day that I went out there? I wrote it down and now I don't see it.
I think it was yesterday before you came in here.
Yeah, I noticed that I noted the generator was running on the 20th of June, but it was not running on the 26th of June. Not only were the generators, neither generator was running, but the generator attached to the trailer had a fairly secure covering of a tarp. Like it was wrapped in the tarp as if it was being stored, as if the generator was being stored and protected from the elements, like you would do for something that was not in use. So that gave me a subjective sense that the generator was no longer being used. So in addition to that, I made a note. I will note for the record that the dumpster, which had been overflowing with trash, was not overflowing with trash. It had covers on it, and it looked fairly clean. The area around it looked reasonably clean. So I think my suggestion is going to be, and Bill, you can correct me if this is not the right idea, but I think the suggestion at this point is to do a reinspection and to see if we can go out there with Mike Silva, since he was out there with us before. See if maybe Samantha can coordinate an inspection by that includes Bill Brookings, Mike Silva, at least one member of the Board of Health, to ascertain the following. One, are the generators no longer running? Two, does the trailer appear to be unoccupied? And three, has the refuse and rubbish system been cleared up? So I think those are our three main concerns. And we should try to schedule that, whenever, as early as possible in the month of July, based on everybody's schedule.
Yeah, I was there the first time. I'm happy to go back out. I know you were too, Jeff, and
Okay. Well, we can figure it out based on whatever date Mike and let's let Mike and Bill come up with a
Yeah, I'll
date.
talk to
that
Mike
does-
and get some
Okay.
dates. He's pretty
right.
available. Yep.
All right. Is that the right plan, Bill, or do you have any other
Yeah.
suggestions?
No, that's what I'd recommend.
All right. Fantastic. Let's do that.
it's consistent with our other approach too, so it's good.
All righty. I think that concludes all of our formal business on the agenda. The other thing that I did want to talk about as a carryover from previous month is the board officers and our plans for transitioning of duties. So we are currently officially without a clerk, and I think we're required to have somebody identified as clerk in addition to chair. I had already volunteered last month to continue as chair until such time as somebody else wants to step into that role. So item number one is the need for somebody to take on the role of clerk. The second item is my request to have Melinda and Sheila determine who would like to take over my duties as representative to FEP Region 2, and who would like to take over the duties previously assumed by John Farnsworth as rep to Neshoba Board of Associated Boards of Health. I'm happy to get into some of the detail about what's required in those jobs, but I think informally, I've talked to both of you about what's involved. I think we already know how often they meet. How about and the role of clerk, since we do have support from the town in the form of Samantha Zedeker, who does a marvelous job with the minutes and the agendas and keeping us on track. The role of clerk is fairly minimal. In fact, I'm not even sure I can put a finger on any role that is required of the clerk. Probably the clerk would step in as chair in the absence of the chair. So if I decided to move to a commune in Montana suddenly and didn't tell anybody, then the clerk would have to step in as chair until a chair could be appointed. Melinda.
I volunteer to be the clerk.
Thank you, Melinda.
Let's put that in the form of a motion. Sheila, would you like to craft a motion for that?
I would like to make a motion that Melinda Apgar be designated as clerk for the Lancaster Board of Health.
Is there a second?
Aye.
All in favor? Sheila Mallett,
Aye.
Melinda Apgar,
Aye.
Jeff Pastor, aye. Thank you. We have a vote. We have a new clerk. Thank you very much for stepping in, Melinda. How about FEP Region 2 and the Neshoba rep? Go ahead, Melinda.
I took both of those positions a few months ago, so I'm currently the rep for both. I was under the impression. So I didn't know. I know I am for Neshoba, and I thought you transitioned me to R2 FEP before. So I wasn't sure if that had been official or if you're still that. And because I know I'm officially the Neshoba, and I wasn't sure. I know we were talking at the last meeting of Sheila doing Neshoba, and I was gonna do R2 FEP. I'm happy to do both. I'm happy to do one. I'm happy to do, whatever. I think that my only concern is just that and it's not really a big concern at all. I think just with our terms, just kind of identifying when we assign positions, making sure we're not like going, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So, because our terms overlap. So like Sheila's on a 1-year term. I still have 2 years left. You now have 3 years left. So I know everybody should get an opportunity to represent these. I just want to make sure also that we're not kind of yo-yoing the membership. Do you know what I'm saying?
So what's your suggestion, Melinda, at this point?
Well, without a commitment with Sheila to sign up for a 3
Oh no.
something, I don't want to make a recommendation necessarily out there. I just want to keep that in mind.
Yep. I don't think we should worry about the terms that much, because I think that they are what they are. And I'm more worried about today and who has responsibility today for these jobs. And, at some point when somebody either is unable or unwilling to do that, assignment, then we would reconvene and try to get somebody else to take it on, whether it's because their term is expiring and they're not running again, or they've got another commitment on that, whatever it happens to be. So I'm happy just to have something in place. I'm perfectly happy to have you do both. I'm perfectly happy to have Sheila do one and you do one. So however you folks want to do it, you're not going to get any pushback from me.
Sheila, what are you comfortable with?
Again, it's all new to me, so I'm more than happy to step in as rep for NABH. I do think that, that might actually be a good starting point, because like I'll have a better understanding, I think, of their role to Lancaster, that sort of thing. So I'm more than happy to step in as one, maybe not both, but so.
Okay.
I think we both have busy family lives, so I think
Yes.
dividing and conquering is a good way to go.
I agree. I don't want to make you feel like, you are in this 1-year term, and I know you want to learn things, but I don't want you to feel overwhelmed at the same time. So
I'm going to feel overwhelmed anyway. It's all good.
Okay. Well, I know you've got a lot going on, so I don't want you to feel like you have to if you don't want to, because
I appreciate
I am already in those positions. So if you want to, I'm happy to divide and conquer. But if you seriously feel like it's too much for you, I'm happy to keep in that position.
Yeah, no, I did plan to attend the NABH meeting tonight and introduce myself anyway. I think it's as I said, I think it's an important part of being part of the board to, be involved in these other things. So I'm more than happy to step in.
Great.
All right.
Okay. So for the record, we've determined that Sheila is going to represent, actually, it's really representing the town and the board as on the Neshoba Associated Boards of Health meetings beginning tonight. And Sheila, I would encourage you, if you feel you need to, you could probably reach out to John Farnsworth. I don't think he would mind. If you need any background or history, Bill might be able to help you as well. But I think generally those meetings are extremely well run and very coherently organized out there. So I don't have too many concerns about it. Melinda, it's great for you if you're going to take over or have already taken over Region 2 FEP. What I have already volunteered to do and would continue to volunteer to do until you decide you no longer need me to do this is to go with you for both of us to represent Lancaster, just sort of as a transition. That way, after a meeting, if you have questions or comments, I would actually have been there and could sort of fill in the blanks. And I can do that for another couple of meetings until you feel like, you can take off the training wheels and just go to those meetings. Generally, my help is probably not going to be necessary. If you have questions, you can always just raise your hand at those meetings. The fellow who runs the meetings, his name is Phil. I'm blanking on his last name right now. That group is used to new people filtering in and out. So asking questions is really never a problem. So,
Yeah,
all right.
I'm happy to have you if you want to come along and, and assist in the transition. I'm happy to have you.
I might come to let's say the next 2 meetings. And unless you say, no, I need you there, for more of them, then I'll probably just drop off at that point. All right. So for the record, Melinda's volunteered to handle Region 2 FEP meetings. I would, if you haven't already done so, Melinda, I would make sure you get a letter to the DPH people in Worcester who sort of run the meeting, and make sure that they know that you are the representative of record. Either that, or I could do it.
Well, maybe you can assist me, because I'm not sure who those contacts would be.
Okay.
I sent an email, now that you say that, I am remembering, I sent an email introducing myself as the R2 FEP leader last year sometime. I mean,
Are you
leader,
getting,
member,
are you
and I
getting
never got
email?
a response.
Okay, let me,
Might not
I've
have had
made
the
a
right
note to,
person.
reach out to, I will send an email. I will just send an email to all the contact people, including you and I, and just state for the record that I have officially transitioned my role as representative for the town of Lancaster to you. I'll give them your contact information, let them know that you should be receiving henceforth all notifications of meetings, all documents, agendas, minutes, etc., related to FEP Region 2, and I'm sure that that will be sufficient. So I'm not 100% sure myself who, I know there's a constellation of people who
Yeah.
in my mind represent the leadership of that group. Um, the reason that I'm being vague is because there's actually been some change recently. Um, the main guy that has been the major driver of that group, the state has changed his role, and the state has actually withdrawn support to these regional FEP groups, which has gotten everybody somewhat upset. But there are other people who have stepped in. So I'm going to send a note out
Okay.
to
Thank
all those
you.
people. That way, you'll have those contact people. Somebody will respond, and we'll be all set.
Thank you so much. I might have reached out to the wrong person.
It's all good. We'll sort it out. Shouldn't be too hard to remedy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Yes, thank you, Sheila.
That's what we're all here for, right?
Thank you.
All right. Before I accept a motion to adjourn, is there anything else we should be talking about? Oh, we got the minutes and we've got the next meeting.
Before
So
that, Jeff, do we have to have a motion for the minutes for the FEP2 and Neshoba associated designees?
no, I don't think so. I
Okay.
think we could just make that determination as a board.
Perfect.
We've never voted on those things before. I don't think I don't think we're required to. So
And then do
we
we have to vote on you staying as chairman?
didn't we do that last month?
I thought we did that. Oh, we didn't?
That we did.
I
too.
don't have it in the minutes that we had a motion and took a vote. I think we just said, you said you'd continue.
All right. Well, let me make that let me make a more clear statement. So I am volunteering to continue as chair for another year or less if somebody wants to take on that role sooner than a year. That year should start at the beginning of last month, which is when the board reconvened as a new board, right?
Mhm.
So I would say that that would be June. No, this is June, May. So by May of 2025, I'm gonna assume that my term as chair will expire. It can expire sooner than that if either Melinda or Sheila want to take it on. We can have that discussion. So, and I think that Melinda as clerk can be an indefinite position until such time as she decides she wants to give that over to someone else. So I will make a motion. I'll make this motion myself that I, Jeff Pastor, continue as chair of the Lancaster Board of Health through May of 2025. At such time, either Belinda, Sheila, or another board member, if there is by then another board member who knows, is able to take that on, or if either Melinda or Sheila want to take it on sooner, that we can have that discussion as part of a future agenda item.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Melinda,
Aye.
Sheila,
Aye.
Jeff, aye. Okay. Next meeting date, I believe we are proposed for a meeting on July 25th, Thursday, July 25th at 9:30. Everybody okay with that date?
Yes.
All right. And we have minutes for the
So,
meeting.
I'm so sorry. I think I'm okay with that date, but we are trying to go to Canada. That at the end of that month, at the end of July, so there is a potential for me to not be able to make that date.
Do you want to wait and see, or do you want to propose another date, or?
Well, I want to throw it out there and see what you think. All right, well, we'll keep it there for now. And if some, I will let you know, hopefully, we'll keep it there. We'll keep it there because I can still attend.
Okay.
So
All right.
either way, I'm just thinking out loud. I'm sorry. I know that I'm going to Canada, but I'm just trying to think. So I could still attend.
Okay. Well, let's plan
Sorry.
on meeting. No worries. Let's plan on meeting Thursday, July 25th at 9:30 as we normally would. If something comes up for anybody, then we can have that communication offline.
Yes, sir.
All right. And Samantha sent out minutes for the May meeting. Are there any, has anybody found anything that must be changed in the minutes before we accept a motion to approve them?
I just communicated with just for transparency, I communicated with Samantha right before this meeting just for to alleviate any questions or confusion for in section 5, which is comments for number 5. It reads, resident GK looking for the Board of Health to confirm that the septic design meets the requirements for discharge within a resource water district in the town bylaws. And in particular, the statute that discusses no more than 440 gallons per acre be discharged. In section A, it says Neshoba Board of Health agent Bill Brookings, BOH, does not enforce bylaws. Board of Health has asked that the building inspector and planning department about who enforces this bylaw. So again, I just had her add Board of Health does not enforce town bylaws specifically because we referenced the town bylaws. The question was in reference to town bylaws. We do have our specific bylaws that we do enforce. So I just wanted to make sure to alleviate questions and confusion when it says Bill Brookings does not enforce bylaws, that we're specifically talking about the town bylaws. Does that make sense?
I hear what you're saying. Is that correct, Bill?
Well, it is a town bylaw, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm okay with that change in the minutes. We're just inserting the word town in front of the word bylaw.
Yes, sir. And it is there in 2 other instances within the meetings. I'm just trying to be consistent
Okay.
within the meeting minutes and to ensure we alleviate questions and confusion with regards to what Bill Brookings is responsible for enforcing or not enforcing.
Well, he's actually in charge of enforcing state bylaws as well. So I'm not sure
Understood.
that specifying town is necessary, but in order to be consistent, I'm fine with that. Melinda, Sheila, are you okay with that change?
Sure, yes.
All right. So I'm willing to take a motion to approve the minutes with that caveat of that straightforward change that I think Samantha is either making or has already made. Is there such a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the Town of Lancaster Board of Health meeting held on Thursday, May 30th at 9:30 a.m. as discussed and provided.
Okay, I'll second that.
In favor, Sheila,
Aye.
Jeff, aye, Melinda.
Aye.
All right, minutes are approved. We have a meeting time, we have the minutes approval. I think we're done. I'm happy to hear a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn today's meeting on Thursday, June 27th at 10:37 a.m.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor, Jeff, aye, Melinda,
Aye.
Sheila.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Much appreciated. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Bill.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
everybody. Have a great